Right now, Dane County's new budget plan, what is not included, plus what it will cost taxpayers.
Plus, construction in Madison is causing traffic, but first responders are saying. Good morning and happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Kyrian Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. Finally, some rain in the forecast. Some folks in the viewing area could see it before the day is over.
And I think we're in dire need right now.
Definitely, definitely. Savannah's been saying that it's kind of looking like hash browns outside, and
she's not
agree
wrong
with her.
Some of the grass, I mean, I don't know. It kind of resembles hash browns, the yellow
right.
or brown spots. I don't know. It's definitely not green. Those bright colors we saw in June and July, all those pictures that people were sending in, we kind of made those comments about how green and everything was looking alive, and it's not really the case anymore. Abnormally dry conditions expand across Wisconsin, and actually our updated drought monitor will come out in the next about hour and a half. I'll post that on Facebook and Twitter and also provide that during the updates. But temperatures early this morning, they are down into the mid to upper 50s. Not a bad start. It is a little bit above normal, and then temperatures are going to climb. They'll hike all the way up to the mid to upper 80s again. But fall weather is on the way. We'll talk about that in a second. Any rain and storm chances early this morning, that's going to be well west of the area. But then we'll finally start to see rain chances increase here locally across central and southern Wisconsin as early as about that 9-10 p.m. time frame. I think even at that point in time, that's going to be west of Madison. But as that line, it's going to weaken some, still bringing us that chance, the first chance in more than 2 weeks. Fall starts on Sunday. It actually might feel a little fall-like out there after that second cold front passes the area. Temperatures are going to drop. We'll talk about how low those are going to go, compare it to average, and also show where the best chance of severe weather is going to be today. That's all coming up a little later.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Dane County's budget proposal is out, and county leaders say it focuses on families. There's nearly a 50% decrease in this year's capital plan, but it would still raise property taxes.
The average Madison home will see taxes raised by roughly $17. Interim Dane County Executive Jamie Kuhn says she's looking to be responsible with taxpayer dollars while also maintaining services at current levels. But there are areas where her office is looking for more funding.
We endeavor to strengthen this connection to families by investing in the areas of highest need and fill gaps that exist in our current service.
All right, let's break it down. This proposal totals more than $903 million. That's nearly a 7% decrease. Operating budget is $813 million. The capital plan is $90 million. Now the tax rate, that's going to go down 16 cents from this year. Excluded from the budget, though, is funding for Dane County's largest food bank.
That's despite food bank leadership asking for it. Our Michelle Renee Quinn is here to explain. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Second Harvest says they're still seeing a growing need for food assistance. Last year, demand was up 30%. This year, it's already increased by 20%. But their funding isn't keeping up. As pandemic-era federal funding has dried up, Second Harvest turned to Dane County, hoping they could make up for some of it in the 2025 county budget. But Interim County Executive Jamie Kuhn did not include that funding in her proposed budget, and county officials say it's not because they didn't want to. They say Wisconsin state law prohibits them from directly funding operational costs for nonprofits. But Second Harvest says there may be a way to work around it, and they're hoping the county will do just that.
I know they know how important this is, and I know there's not enough funds to go around for every single request, but we need to share how important this is to have at least some level of funding included in future iterations of the budget for 2025.
The budget approval process still has to go through several more interactions before being approved. And for anyone who's interested in donating to Second Harvest, you can find all the information you need at secondharvestsw.org.
Oh, yeah, a tough break for Second Harvest asking for this funding, but it's up to the community, in large to step up and help out nonprofits like this, and, maybe they can work something out with county government. Thank you for this, Michelle Renee.
Of course.
Now to an update this morning. The American Red Cross is assisting 6 people after a fire at Curly's Pub and Grub in Blue Mounds. Fire crews say they saw smoke filling the building, which also has a single-family apartment above the business. All 6 residents made it out safely with no injuries. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says it does not appear to be suspicious. Damages are estimated at $200,000.
Another fire. This one happened in Madison last night. Crews called to a home on the north side just before 10 o'clock on Browning Road. They had thick black smoke when they got there at an attached garage. The fire put out in about 5 minutes. Owners say they discovered the fire after smelling smoke and hearing alarms. No injuries. Damage is estimated at $15,000.
Sentencing will take place next Thursday for a former Sun Prairie School resource officer. 35-year-old Lamont Crockett pleaded guilty to child enticement. Prosecutors charged Crockett 3 times in 2023. 2 additional charges have since been dismissed. Police arrested Crockett after a victim said he assaulted them during their time in high school. At the time, the victim says they were 16 years old. The full details can be found right now on our website, channel3000.com.
If you've driven downtown Madison or on the city's west side recently, you have noticed the construction. It's causing growing delays, especially during rush hour. Our Tanisha Shaw, though, sought out some first responders and asked them how construction is impacting response times.
A lot of times what we've noticed is once this construction is done, it makes the roads nicer. We're creating more bike paths, and it's just overall making the city look better and become a safer city.
There's currently more than 15 active construction projects on Madison roads. It's something we see every day. It impacts rush hour both in the morning and afternoon. But first responders say they prepare for construction before any orange cones even go up.
Like the traffic side of the city is communicating with MPD, and MPD is then communicating with officers to be like, hey, this is the major road construction that's going on. This is where it's going to be happening. Plan for, some of that stuff in advance.
Both Madison Fire and police say construction on the road barely impacts response times.
Thanks to our traffic layout, these aren't significant impacts for us. But if it's a time of heavy traffic or heavy use, then it might add in some more time.
What can challenge active response times the most during construction are drivers on the road.
I think we have bigger issues with getting people to recognize that when an emergency vehicle is behind them and being able to pull over to the right to allow us to give us the right of way. People just stop in the middle of the road because they don't know where to go, or they ignore and think that they're going to try and stay in front of us. That's where we start to run into problems where we get some more significant delays, because then we kind of get stuck in traffic. Then we can't change our route left and right because there's just too much traffic.
That was Tanisha Shaw reporting.
And now to national news, the latest in the case of exploding pagers and most recently walkie-talkies in Lebanon. Explosions went off in towns and cities across the country. 20 people are dead and more than 450 injured in Wednesday's attack, including a blast at a funeral for people killed by exploding pagers. Hezbollah accused Israel of turning thousands of communication devices into explosives. Israel's defense minister says they are at the start of a new phase in the war. Meanwhile, families of hostages held in Gaza took to the streets. They are concerned the latest escalation could impact efforts to get hostages home.
Well, flu season is coming up and COVID cases are on the rise once again. Medical experts say now's the time to protect yourself. The CDC says this respiratory virus season is going to be similar to last year's. It brought 20 hospitalizations for every 100,000 people in a week. That was at the peak. That's worse than what it was pre-pandemic. Doctors say the best way to protect yourself is to get vaccinated.
Getting our vaccination numbers up is still an ongoing battle. You are able to get vaccines at the same time.
The COVID-19 and seasonal flu vaccines are recommended for everyone 6 months and older. The RSV vaccines recommended for those 75 and older. That vaccine is a one-time dose. Check this out. A limo driver leading police on Pleasant Prairie on a chase that ended in a crash. Police body camera footage captured it all. Police say that the driver sped off after they tried to pull him over for an expired plate. And take a look at this video showing the driver losing control, then crashing into a ditch. And that's when the suspect made a run for it. An officer tracked him down in the woods. Police say they found meth in his vehicle. The suspect now facing several felony charges.
A group of UW-Platteville students are taking a cannabis education course online. The 5 different courses cover different sectors of the industry. Some may ask, why provide cannabis cultivation classes in a state where marijuana is illegal? Max Simon says it's for the same reason all college courses exist, to adequately prepare students for future possibilities.
This industry moves and evolves very quickly. And even though it's not fully legalized today, that can change in an instant. And we've seen that happen across the states. And so these programs, even in a non-legal state, are very useful at giving people the skills and knowledge they need to succeed.
He is the CEO of Green Flower. It's the company that creates cannabis education courses. Students say they feel prepared to work in the cannabis industry, and they've gained valuable insight into the business.
Someone new is in charge of the Waunakee School District this year. Dr. Monica Kelsey Brown is taking over for Randy Gutenberg, who retired last summer. She was the superintendent in Brown Deer since 2020. I recently spent some time with Dr. Kelsey Brown talking about how she's adjusting to her new school district. She says she is in the process of getting to know everyone. I also asked her about her leadership style.
I believe when all of the educators are in the room and all of our areas of expertise are at the table, that's how we're able to capitalize on the knowledge in the space and execute doing what's best for children every day in every way.
In our next half hour, we'll talk about her feelings starting in a district that's going to referendum.
Checking in now, Savannah, what's coming up?
We finally have some much needed rain in the forecast as early as this evening into tonight. We'll talk about the rainfall totals we could see over the next 7 days and which days to me stand out the most.
And also an injury update on Packers QB Jordan Love, plus how fans can enter to win big.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning, brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
We all know costs are too high, but while corporations are gouging families, Trump is focused on giving them tax cuts. But Kamala Harris is focused on you.
Building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
She'll make groceries more affordable by cracking down on price gouging. And she'll cut housing costs by taking on corporate speculators. Middle-class families build America. We need a leader who has their back.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Sylvania's TrueWave LED bulbs provide the closest lighting to natural sunlight. Create a nurturing environment for your family. Pick up a 6-pack of 65-watt LED flood bulbs for $19.97 after rebate. Check out our great selection of quality appliances. This Criterion Garage-Ready freezer is energy efficient and can be converted into a refrigerator. Take one home today for $595.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
Dreaming about house projects? Do it during this fun event and save on wood, carpet, tile, and luxury vinyl. We'll help you with our interior design staff and the best installers in the business. Save at H&R Carpets and Flooring, Waunakee.
Career politicians like Peter Barca will say anything to get elected. His latest negative ad against Brian Style, it's been called blatantly false. The truth, Style has always supported IVF. He co-sponsored a resolution supporting IVF. And Style backs legislation to help families afford IVF. Peter Barca can sling mud, but we deserve better than just another lying career politician.
I'm Brian Style, and I approve this message.
Papa Murphy's everyday value lineup means big savings on big flavors, like our new shredded pepperoni, crumbled sausage, or classic cheese pizzas, all for the small price of $7.99 each. Order now at papamurphys.com.
Quartz takes a different approach to health insurance. We know every life well lived is a journey, and we're here to light the way at every step. That's why for 40 years, we've been alongside the doctors and hospitals who know what their communities need. Because they're a part of them. Because we're a part of them. There's a fire burning in all of us. Let's ignite it together. Quartz. Find your spark.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years. Highest gas prices ever. Skyrocketing interest rates. on affordable housing. Incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
6:15 on your Thursday morning. A new rehabilitation facility in Fitchburg is helping patients recover. Encompass Health provides inpatient rehab for stroke, brain injury, hip fracture, and other conditions. Bill Stockwell retired from his job as a factory worker. He began losing his balance, frequently falling and getting hurt. Doctors diagnosed him with spinal stenosis, and that's when he got surgery. While recovering, he spent time at Encompass Health.
When I got here, I had pretty much accepted the fact that my life was over. You know, I didn't know, did I have a week, did I have a month? I didn't know. I thought for sure that my life was done. And after we got here, I got through the first night, we started doing the work, and everything just turned completely around.
Stockwell is now back on his feet and safely walking, as you just saw there. For the first time in months, Bill is optimistic about the future.
Way to go, Bill.
Yes, keep pushing.
Can't do it without the help you got there. That's great to hear.
Checking in now with Savannah Brito. What can we expect?
Guys, rain eventually moving in. Temperatures early this morning for the most part across southern Wisconsin, the mid to upper 50s, but areas west that are seeing a little bit more cloud cover, La Crosse, Prairie du Chien, Dubuque, those temperatures are actually still in the 60s. Will be widespread mid 60s expected tonight with the showers that are eventually going to track in. Any activity mid to late morning stays well northwest of here, even northwest of La Crosse, but clouds are going to increase as that cold front inches closer to us. I do think that's speeding up a little bit. That line will move in, say, between 9 and 10 p.m. And it looks to hold up for areas like Prairie du Chien, Boscobel, maybe as far east as Camp Douglas, definitely La Crosse and Black River Falls. But then once it hits closer to Madison and travels further east, watch what this does. It breaks up, still expecting that to move in between 1 to 2 in the morning, and temperatures are going to be in the mid 60s. They'll fall a little bit once those showers do clear and the cloud cover quickly moves out of here. If we are able to see strong to severe thunderstorms hold as far east as Madison, I think gusty winds definitely going to be a problem, and then maybe some smaller hail. As those move from Madison east towards Waukesha and Milwaukee, this is now 4 in the morning. Those are definitely expected to fizzle out. So they could hold strength as far east as Dane County, but beyond that, I think they are going to break up. Beyond 4 a.m., maybe some spotty showers for areas like Janesville, Waukesha, Milwaukee, Kenosha. But beyond that, everyone else is going to be dry. Clouds decrease quickly. Our winds notice briefly back out of the north, and then they transition back out of the south into Saturday morning. I think most of Saturday looks dry. However, the evening hours, that's when our next chance of rain is going to move in. So east or western Dane County and then areas west of that actually got expanded now to a level 1 out of 5. This is still lower level based on where the best severe weather chance is. Ultimately, Prairie du Chien, La Crosse, Black River Falls, west of Camp Douglas, all of those places that are included in that yellow color, slight risk or 2 out of 5. That's where the best chance of severe weather is going to be. But the Storm Prediction Center did shift this a little bit further east. But you could see even on that future track, those storms all weakening as they travel beyond that. That's why it kind of cuts off Madison. And then there is no threat really east of that. We'll have to watch that overnight. But again, winds, also some hail, and then some pockets of heavier showers. That's what we'll have to look out for. Not a lot of rains expected with this. Better chance, I think, coming with that second cold front Saturday and Sunday. And that's when temperatures are going to drop.
Well, a welcome sight for Packers fans for the first time since injuring his MCL against the Eagles in Brazil. Quarterback Jordan Love returned to the practice field. Love was seen throwing some bootleg passes while wearing a sleeve over his left leg. Head coach Matt LaFleur said Love was limited during today's practice, but if Love is unable to go on Sunday, we're going to see Malik Willis take snaps against Tennessee. He'd take the field for his second straight start. Green Bay acquired Willis from Tennessee for a 7th rounder back in August.
The Milwaukee Brewers are NL Central champions. They are back-to-back division champs for the first time since the 1982 World Series team did it. Milwaukee walked off Philadelphia on a Jake Bauer single in the bottom of the ninth. Even though the Brewers are now playoff bound, there's still work to be done. Milwaukee still has a shot at the top 2 seeds in the National League. That would give them a bye in the playoffs. And the Packers are offering fans a chance to win tickets to the Packers-Bears game. Fans should submit photos for the 12th annual Packers Fan Choice Awards. Nomination period is open now until October 9th. Finalists for each category will be selected and announced on October 14th. There are 4 categories for you to participate in: Packers Kid, Greatest Packers Vacation, Best Tailgate Party, and Strongest Game Day Fit.
Some nice categories there.
Yeah.
So many diehard Packer fans. I always think I'm a big Packers fan until I run into a super fan. And I'm like, okay, yeah, they got me beat.
I'm sure there's people with tattoos out there of the Packers.
Oh, you know it.
Absolutely.
You know it. All right, get in on that Packers fan contest. Well, coming up here on News 3 Now this morning, we're going to talk about some new polls and how it shows Wisconsin voters are feeling about the presidential and the Senate candidates.
First Warn Weather, keeping you ahead of the storms.
As a prosecutor, I never asked a victim or a witness, are you a Republican or a Democrat? The only thing I ever asked them, are you okay? And that's the kind of president we need right now. Someone who cares about you and is not putting themselves first. I intend to be a president for all Americans and focus on investing right now in you, the American people. And we can chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
The kindness, the efficiency, the respect was amazing.
From start to finish, they will take care of you.
Everybody is just so kind and everybody's so cheerful. I just never worked with a company where everybody seems to get along and they're all happy to be working for Cardinal.
Cardinal is the place to go for any type of work that you need done around your home.
I never hesitate with family, friends, neighbors to recommend Cardinal, and nobody has come back to me and said I was wrong.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
Thousands of our heroes face the difficult choice between keeping their heat and power on or facing homelessness. 21,000 Wisconsin veterans are living below the poverty line. Wisconsin loses 3 veterans to suicide every week. Together, our mission is to provide all struggling Wisconsin veterans with a critical survival safety net. You can make a real difference by providing a donation to the Wisconsin Heat and Housing for Heroes initiative.
Democrats say everything's great, but when you're on a fixed income struggling to pay for gas, groceries, or medicine, it doesn't feel great.
Biden Harris created this mess.
And Tammy Baldwin's been right there with them.
25 years in Washington. What's she done?
Raised taxes.
Added trillions in new debt.
And gave stimulus checks to illegals.
I'm Eric Hovde. I approve this message.
I'd like a stimulus check.
I'd like you to take out the trash.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. At Fields, we have a great selection of Range Rovers, Defenders, and Discoveries. So, no matter how you'd like to visit, online or in person, we're here to provide you world-class service. And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get as low as 3.9% APR financing for up to 72 months on new 2024 Land Rover Defenders, Discovery Sports, Range Rover Volars, and Evokes at Land Rover Madison. Go to LandRoverMadison.com.
4 years ago, rioters set this Minneapolis police station on fire, trying to burn me and my fellow police officers alive. Governor Tim Walz left us for dead. And Kamala Harris?
This is a movement, I'm telling you. Everyone beware. They're not going to let up, and they should not.
She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding the police. Kamala sold cops out and put families at risk. Kamala Harris is too weak and too dangerous to be president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
6:24 on your Thursday. Here is a praying mantis from Gwen. Looky there. That's always a sight to see.
Really cool with the blue in the back.
Yeah.
I love that. Gwen, thanks. Trending this morning, Norway, now the first country to have more electric vehicles than pure gasoline-powered cars on the road. So diesel is still the most common, making up about a third of vehicles on the road in Norway. But the Norwegian Road Federation believes that EVs will outnumber diesels by 2026. Meantime, Norway appears to be on track of meeting their goal to end all new gas and diesel vehicle sales by next year. Electric cars make up more than 90% of new vehicle sales in the U.S. That number is about 8.5.
Weren't we supposed to have flying cars by now?
Where's our flying cars?
I read a Scholastic news article in like 5th grade, and we were supposed to have flying cars.
Yeah,
like
we thought.
2020.
It's a lie.
Now look at
It's
us.
all a lie. A new study shows the Mind Diet is showing some success. The Mind Diet is largely Mediterranean-based, so lots of veggies, beans, nuts, seafood, and poultry. The study published in the journal Neurology found those who followed the diet for a decade had less risk of problems related to thinking, concentration, and memory lapses. Researchers also say if patients want to preserve their cognitive function, they need to stay away from foods like red meats, cheeses, and pastries.
What about ice cream?
All the good stuff.
Is ice cream all right? Probably not.
I
eat
sure
too
dairy,
much of
so
that.
it's probably overlaps. So
No, but don't you feel better when you eat better food?
not really.
I
No.
know. Ice cream makes me feel pretty good. Yeah.
I feel kind of sad.
Have a bad
Take
day,
like
chocolate
5
scoop.
scoops of ice cream. Yeah, exactly. Well, there's finally rain in the forecast. We'll
Hey,
have
you
that.
feel good about
Ooh,
that.
that's a pretty shot.
Back after this.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Pets are cute. Until they're not. Forgive your best friend. It's not clean until it's Stanley Steamer Clean.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years. Highest gas prices ever. Skyrocketing interest rates. Unaffordable housing. Incomes down. Unemployment rising. And a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
It's no secret, Robertson is Wisconsin's aesthetic leader, but with results this natural, patients can keep it a secret if they want. Our secret to reducing stubborn body fat, Cool Sculpting Elite, the newest technology available. Book a free consultation to learn how Cool Sculpting is different at Robertson.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde insulted Wisconsin seniors.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
What a jerk. He attacked those who are overweight.
Fine, you want to do that? Your health care is going to cost more.
How insulting is that?
He called farmers lazy.
Look at the old physical toil. Now you're largely driving around a tractor.
This guy doesn't have a clue.
Eric Hovde has insulted just about everyone.
What's wrong with this guy?
There is nothing like a Wendy's Frosty. It's cool. It's creamy. It's only $1 right now. Wait, what? The one and only Frosty is $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
This election is about two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, and the other focused on the past. When the middle class is strong, America is strong. Lowering the cost of living will be a defining goal of my presidency. I'll lower the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for everyone, and I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food. More than 100 million Americans will get a tax cut. We will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals that are affordable for the middle class. Together, we will build an economy where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. Now is the time to chart a new way forward.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Get peace of mind with your annual Stanley Steamer dryer vent cleaning. We remove lint buildup to reduce the risk of fire and extend the life of your dryer. Plus, your clothes will dry faster, too. Your dryer vent isn't clean until it's Stanley Steamer Clean.
Gets your home cleaner.
This morning, now that interest rates are cut, we'll look at what it really means for buying a home.
Plus, new election polling. Find out how Wisconsin voters are feeling less than 2 months before the election.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Ann Lee. Thanks for waking up with us. The weekend is near. We just got to push through. Fall is a few days away, but it's still feeling a lot like summer.
Yeah, it's weird. It feels like summer outside, but you've noticed like a lot of the leaves are falling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of leaves on the ground now because it's been so dry out. So it's kind of freaking me out. It's tricking me.
But you like that transitional period, remember?
I love the transitional season. My favorite season is the beginning of whatever month we're currently in.
So you don't like have an exact favorite season, just the transitional period in between those?
No, because I'm gonna love this fall crisp that's coming into the forecast before long. Let's get to the bigger story, though. Savannah Brito's out on the patio tracking our conditions outside with fall away, a few days away now, but the rain in the forecast so desperately needed now.
Yes, we really need the rain. The drought monitor comes out in about an hour's time, but fall-like weather actually around the corner. Temperatures forecast to drop a little bit more from that second cold front into Sunday, between Saturday and Sunday. But the first cold front, that'll spark some showers later this evening for some, and then early Friday morning. It's not a bad start. 56 in Madison, 55 in Sun Prairie, 58 in Perry. That yellow color really south and also west of Madison. That's where the warmer temperatures are located because they have more cloud cover out there. So solar radiation didn't escape further into space, opposed to us where we are sitting mostly clear, at least right now. The above average temperatures stick around for today and tomorrow and then start to drop some over the weekend. That's when our next chance of rain returns Saturday evening into Sunday. That's the second chance. I think it'll be more widespread out there off and on through that time frame all the way until Tuesday morning. We'll show where the best chance of severe weather is going to be and when those storms could make its way to Madison. That's all coming up a little later.
All right, Savannah, thank you. To our top stories this morning, Americans will finally see some relief when it comes to interest rates.
The Federal Reserve cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. The standard rate is now down 0.5 percentage point. That's twice the usual deduction of 0.25%. Rates have been at a 23-year high for more than a year. Here's what the Fed chair is saying about the decision.
We are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials. The U.S. economy is in good shape. It's growing at a solid pace. Inflation is coming down. The labor market is in a strong pace. We want to keep it there. That's what we're doing.
The Fed says they're well positioned to deal with the risk and uncertainties ahead. They have 2 more meetings before the end of the year and could decide to cut rates again.
So what does this mean for you? Well, if you're looking to buy a car, you'll likely save some money there. Those with credit card debt will have less to pay off as well. But for anyone buying a home, it's more complicated. CBS's Chanel Call explains.
For 2 years now, Carl Lemarique has been hunting for a house.
The market is so disgusting.
Across the country, prospective home buyers have been weighed down by inflation, competition, and high lending rates. The Federal Reserve's decision to cut interest rates is expected to give the housing market a boost.
It's good, but then it's bad because now people are going to be willing to pay even more for a house that's worth less.
The hardwood floor continues throughout the home.
Real estate broker Anuri Evangelista says home buying interest is surging. This home in Yonkers, New York saw several offers. In the first couple of days, it was on the market.
If you're quick to act on that rate drop, then you have a better chance than perhaps waiting another month or two.
While the Fed's decision could complicate the housing market, financial experts say it will lead to lower interest rates on credit card balances and make buying a car more affordable. A new survey from Edmunds found 62% of car shoppers were holding off on purchasing their next vehicle because of high interest rates.
And the interest rate has just been sky high. This might give some relief sooner rather than later.
Many economists believe the Federal Reserve will continue to cut rates. The board meets 2 more times before the end of the year. Chanel Call, CBS News, New York.
We should note it will take some time before the Fed's action has an effect on credit card and car loan rates. Well, this morning there's some new insight on how Wisconsin voters feel about the 2024 election. Both Quinnipiac and AARP released some fresh polling data after last week's debate.
I'm Michelle Renee Quinn, joins us in the studio now to break those numbers down. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, the polled voters think Trump will do a better job handling the economy and immigration, where Vice President Harris leads on issues like preserving democracy, abortion, and a crisis that puts the country at great risk. Starting with Quinnipiac, in a poll of likely Wisconsin voters, Kamala Harris leads Donald Trump 48 to 47. That includes third-party candidates. In a hypothetical two-way race, the vice president holds a 49 to 48 edge. The margin of error here is plus or minus 3 percentage points. AARP's poll deals with likely voters aged 50 and older. Trump leads Vice President Harris 47 to 45 with voters who are aged 50 plus, and the margin of error here is plus or minus 3.5%. However, Harris leads overall in the state. Now on your screen, you can see among registered voters, Harris leads 48% to Trump's 45%. Now in the race for the Senate among voters aged 50 plus, Eric Hovde leads Senator Tammy Baldwin 50 to 49. Voters between ages 50 to 64 favor Hovde by 11 points. Senator Baldwin has an 8-point lead in the 65 plus age range. So both Harris and Senator Baldwin lead in the 65 plus ages, where their Republican counterparts lead in the 50 to 64 age range.
All right, breaking down the numbers, Michelle Renee, thank you.
Absolutely.
More 3 for the People coverage now. Lawmakers are calling on big tech to help curb foreign threats to this year's election. Executives from Google, Meta, and Microsoft testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee yesterday, laying out how they're aiming to combat online election interference. It comes as federal officials are cracking down on the spread of election misinformation.
We disrupt activity on a regular basis, and we publish our findings. And we provide expert analysis on threats originating from the kinds of countries we were talking about: Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, as well as from the criminal underground.
A new study from Adobe finds that most Americans are concerned about the spread of misinformation. They fear it will have an impact on the presidential election.
And the hearing comes amid reports of a hack from Iran against the campaign of former President Donald Trump. Federal law enforcement officials say Iranian hackers stole information from the Trump campaign over the summer. They then sent it to people associated with what used to be the Biden campaign. This happened in late June and early July. A spokesperson for the Harris campaign says some people received the content but did not use it. The Trump campaign says the hack is, quote, further proof the Iranians are actively interfering in the election.
People in Kentucky and surrounding states are feeling safer this morning after officials say that they found the body of a man who allegedly shot 5 people in the state. The investigation does continue. Nonetheless, it is expected to end 11 days of worry for people south of Lexington. Authorities had warned an armed and dangerous mass shooting suspect was possibly on the loose.
We've had school cancellations. We've had church cancellations. People's been in fear. That's not the normal here in Laurel County. So now that this has been discovered, I hope that our county can get back to what's normal.
The motive for the violence is still unclear, though.
Continuing coverage now of Wisconsin's troubled child prison, the Lincoln Hills Copper Lake School. One of the 2 teenage prisoners charged with the death of a prison counselor will stand trial. A judge found enough evidence for 17-year-old Ryan Nyblum to go to trial. The Lincoln County District Attorney is charging Nyblum with being a party to felony murder battery. Nyblum says he watched as a 16-year-old punch the counselor, causing him to hit his head on the concrete. The district attorney charged that teen as an adult with first-degree reckless homicide. Nyblum is back in court today.
Madison police say a motorcyclist has serious injuries after crashing into a house. It happened just after 1:30 yesterday morning on Buckeye Road between Schaefer and Spanham. Multiple people reported the crash. Officers got there and found the motorcycle had indeed crashed into the house. They say it's not the first time a vehicle's crashed into this home. They ended up ticketing the motorcyclist and say that person is expected to recover.
People in Richland County will get to question county officials about last year's data hack. The county board is holding a special meeting on the matter. It will take place next Tuesday evening at 6. The event will begin with a discussion about roles and responsibilities in county government. Then attendees will be able to ask questions. Questions can be about any topic, including the breach. The county says at this point, no official actions will be taken regarding any topic. And coming up after the break, we'll break down the Waunakee Schools referendum and hear what the new superintendent has to say about it.
A line of weakening showers and storms eventually going to move across Madison and into southern Wisconsin. We'll time out what time that could make its way here.
I'm Joan Balwig, and these days the cost to make Great-Grandma Balwig's Blue Ribbon banana bread is, well, just nuts. Wisconsin families are feeling the pinch of inflation, even on the basics. That's why I work to put dough back in your pockets. Led the effort to defend our family farms and pass the biggest tax cut in state history, because the only way to make life affordable again is to do what banana bread does and bring everyone to the table.
My name is Jack Frank. I'm a retired paper mill worker in the valley here, and I work for Copus and Bus part-time on the side. I've had my own route now here for the last 3-4 years, and the kids on it are great. Flexible hours, they work with you in many different ways. If you've got something going, they accommodate you, or they try to get somebody to run your route. Copus treats you decent. You know, all the years I worked here, it's a great place to work.
Shop from the largest selection of Chevy trucks and SUVs in Wisconsin at Bergstrom Chevrolet. All with Bergstrom's negotiation-free upfront pricing, including our exclusive 7-day price protection and money-back guarantees. Stop in or shop and purchase at BergstromChevrolet.com.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Fall is just around the corner. Let the experts at Feldco get your home ready for the cooler temps ahead. Right now, buy one window, get one free. Plus, no interest for 3 years.
Call now. Call 866 for Feldco.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
This is a hallway. Doesn't evoke much feeling. But to those facing cancer or a complex condition, it feels like relief. Because all the doctors, treatments, and technology you've been fighting to find, they're all right here, under one roof, connected by hallways instead of highways. East Park Medical Center, coming soon. UW Health, remarkable.
In today's crazy political climate, we are constantly bombarded with information and misinformation. News 3 Now wants to make sure all the national noise doesn't drown out what's important right here in southern Wisconsin. 3 for the People highlights the issues and the races that matter where you live.
Talking with local candidates, looking at both sides of the issues, and fact-checking it all so you can cast your vote with confidence.
3 for the People, only on News 3 Now. You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
We are following some breaking news out of Waunakee this morning. A dispatch confirms a motorcycle versus a bus crash. Now we're hearing that happened at the intersection of Nord and Ramish. We can't confirm injuries right now, and this crash just was reported just after 6:30 this morning.
We do have a crew on the way to the scene there and are working on getting some additional details, including if anybody was hurt and exactly what kind of bus was involved. We will have those updates, if not here on News 3 Now this morning on channel3000.com. To more 3 for the People coverage this morning, voters in the Waunakee School District will decide a school referendum this fall. The district is asking for about $21 million over 2 years. It's to keep up with operating costs and to give staff a raise. Property owners would pay for the referendum. For a $500,000 home, an approved referendum would increase yearly property taxes by $160. If it fails, taxes would go down $830 a year. I asked the new superintendent about taking a job, knowing that a referendum was coming.
I knew what I was walking into, but I think one of the benefits of being here in Waunakee is the administrator team who have navigated these paths before. So they've been instrumental and very helpful in helping me understand historically what has transpired.
The referendum will be on the November 5th ballot.
The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development is hoping to address health hazards in public housing, including here in Wisconsin. HUD is spending $200,000 to address these hazards in the Badger State. It's part of an $87 million investment. The department is focusing on lead-based paint, carbon monoxide, mold, radon, and fire safety. A HUD survey says more than 34 million homes have lead paint in the building. The funding will help homes comply with new federal standards for home safety.
6:45, checking in with Savannah Brito. Your First One forecast is here to plan your day. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, guys, we're finally tracking some rain in the forecast. Those storms going to develop out over Iowa and Minnesota and then travel into southern Wisconsin later this evening. Temperatures are down to the mid to upper 50s across most of southern Wisconsin, a little warmer towards Monroe, Janesville, and then also Platteville and areas west like Prairie du Chien and also up near La Crosse. We'll be at 74 by 10 a.m., mid-70s expected by 2 p.m. This is the Weather Prediction Center's 7-day rainfall outlook. Increased a little bit, 1 to 1.5 inches for Madison. Areas west and north have a little bit of a better chance of getting closer to that 2-inch range. Keep in mind, this is over the next week, so not a lot, but at least there's some rain in the forecast. There's absolutely nothing over the last over 2 weeks time frame. Cloud cover will increase through about mid to late morning. We're mostly clear across Madison right now. Areas west saw a little bit more cloud cover overnight, hence the warmer temperatures. Spotty showers stay northwest to La Crosse early, and then by later, that 9 to 10 p.m. time frame, this line's going to develop out over Iowa and Minnesota and then track in at the earliest 9 to 10. I think for areas west of Prairie du Chien or near that, La Crosse, Black River Falls, and then still forecasting that to break up some, but make its way to Madison between 1 to 2 in the morning. Beyond that, that breaks up even more towards Waukesha and Milwaukee. Spotty showers into 4 a.m., but beyond that, most of Friday looking dry. If we're able to see those storms hold strength, though, I think winds and also some smaller hail are going to be the big things later this evening into tonight. This is the latest outlook. The Storm Prediction Center did shift this a little further east, now including western Dane County, Wisconsin Dells, east of Camp Douglas, Lone Rock, Platteville, but the best chance for severe weather still remains where that yellow color is. That's a slight risk or a level 2 out of 5 based on severe weather chances. Prairie du Chien, La Crosse, Black River Falls, Minneapolis, Eau Claire, all of those areas mainly west as those storms travel into southern Wisconsin or further into southern Wisconsin. I do still think they will break up some. But again, winds, hail, and pockets of heavy showers, that's going to be what to look out for. I think the better chance of rain coming Saturday evening into the overnight hours and early Sunday. We keep those off and on storm and shower chances through Monday and at least Tuesday morning. But then I do think we'll get back to another drier pattern, which isn't good news, but at least we'll be able to squeeze some out over the next couple of days.
All right, Savannah, thank you so much for that update. It's still a bit warm out, but this year's Coats for Kids campaign still continues. We're now up to 782 coats, but we're looking for more. The campaign runs until Saturday, October 5th. You can donate gently used coats, hats, mittens, or scarves at any Clinky Cleaners location or the Lucier Family YMCA. If you want to contribute but don't have any winter clothes to offer, you can donate through our website, channel3000.com.
6:48 now. A Wisconsin father is lucky to be alive this morning after being mauled by a bear.
His 12-year-old son shot the bear while they were hunting in Siren. That's in the northwest part of the state. Jennifer Hoff has the story.
So this is my first year. I killed it with a crossbow.
For an avid outdoorsman like Owen Byerman,
every mount is memorable.
This one I also got with the crossbow.
Just as much as the time Dad Ryan gets to spend with his son.
Being out in nature, I love it.
Except their last hunt together may be the hardest of all to beat.
He was trying to live, and I was trying to live at that point.
Ryan remembers the 200-pound black bear not 10 feet from him.
And I looked down and I seen teeth and claws coming at my face. And
all Ryan could rely on was his empty pistol, or so he thought.
I was holding the gun like this and striking the bear. That's when he let go of my leg and moved to my face. And I remember hearing the first bite. It was like a crunch. The fight ensued, and I heard the shot, and I felt the bear's weight shift to my left side and just shoved him off me. And
it wasn't Ryan's gun.
Didn't think twice, I just shot it.
It was Owen making the miraculous shot.
There's a picture from a couple days later.
His dad wounded, but alive.
He performed under pressure that a lot of people wouldn't perform under.
Around 200.
Owen had hunted bear before, but this time he missed, injuring the animal that then took off, the two trying to find it later, leading to that fateful encounter. A story, much like the bear, is now frozen in time.
If we do a full body, you'd probably find somewhere downstairs.
The next mount is another memory these two won't soon forget.
That'll be the most memorable mount in the house.
That was Jennifer Hoff reporting there with the story. The Wisconsin DNR says this was the 14th bear attack in the state since 2013.
Man, I'm just glad he made it out alive, and I'm glad his son had quick thinking. He and was able to, quickly get the bear down without
missing his
losing
father.
his dad. Yeah,
right.
and missed his dad. Yeah.
Incredible story. Incredible.
Yes. Well, coming up in the morning sprint, how nutrition facts may help heavy drinkers.
If you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, let us know. Send us a picture. We'll show it on TV. We're back with the morning sprint right after this.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
A1 Furniture and Mattress is closing their giant showroom, and that means the best prices ever. Everything must go. Over $1 million in inventory must be sold. Name brands at huge discounts for every room. Store closing sale on now at A1 Furniture and Mattress.
Leave the gate open, and it's chaos. Biden and Kamala opened America's gate, abandoned the Border Patrol. In came over 8 million unvetted illegals and a fentanyl crisis endangering families.
Let's go. I'm Derek Van Orden, and after spending 26 years as a Navy SEAL, I'll do anything to protect your grandchildren and mine. I know how to defend this country. So let's secure the border and save America. I'm Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
Gas, groceries, school supplies, everything costs more. Eggs are almost twice as much as they were 4 years ago. Biden, Harris, and the Democrats keep telling us things are better. They aren't better. And Tammy Baldwin is making it worse. Raising taxes, running up debt, voting for spending that's driving inflation. 25 years in Washington, and she's done nothing. It's time for a change.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Tammy Baldwin's partner is Maria Brisbane, a Wall Street wealth advisor to the ultra-rich. They spend their time in New York and D.C. in their multi-million-dollar homes. But Baldwin fails to report their jointly owned assets or Maria's clients, who get rich off industries that Tammy regulates. That's a conflict of interest raising serious ethical questions. Two-faced Tammy Baldwin. She's not for us anymore. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
He told us who he was.
Should abortion be punished? There has to be some form of punishment.
Then he showed us.
For 54 years, they were trying to get Roe v. Wade terminated, and I did it, and I'm proud to have done it.
Now Donald Trump wants to go further with plans to restrict birth control, ban abortion nationwide, even monitor women's pregnancies. We know who Donald Trump is. He'll take control. We'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
We know Wisconsin workers can get the job done.
But China has been taking our jobs.
For years, our government built America's infrastructure with Chinese iron and steel. I said that's got to change.
Tammy Baldwin wrote the law to make sure American projects are made with American iron and steel. Now we're getting more work in Wisconsin.
With Wisconsin workers.
Tammy Baldwin stood up to China and our government.
She got the job done.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
A1 Furniture and Mattress is closing their giant showroom, and that means the best prices ever. Everything must go. Over $1 million in inventory must be sold. Name brands at huge discounts for every room. Store closing sale on now at A1 Furniture and Mattress.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's 6:54, time for the morning sprint.
Back to that report of a motorcycle and bus colliding in Wanakee. That call came in less than a half an hour ago. It happened at the intersection of Nord Drive and Ramish Road. No word on if there are any injuries. That is something we're working right now to figure out. We do have a crew on the way to the scene. We'll provide updates in our news breaks.
Americans will finally see some relief when it comes to interest rates. The Federal Reserve has cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years. The standard rate is now down 0.5 percentage point. That's twice the usual deduction of 0.25%. Rates have been at a 23-year high for more than a year. There could still be more cuts this year.
People in Richland County will get to ask questions of county officials about last year's data hack. The county board is holding a special meeting next Tuesday at 6. The event will begin with a discussion about roles and responsibility in county government, and attendees will eventually be able to ask questions about anything, including the data breach.
People in Dane County can expect to pay more in property taxes. That's because of the county's new budget proposal. There's nearly a 50% decrease in this year's capital plan. The average Madison home will see taxes raised by $17 in taxes, roughly. The proposal totals more than $903 million.
One of the 2 teenage prisoners charged with the death of a prison counselor will stand trial. A judge found enough evidence for 17-year-old Ryan Nyblom to go to trial. The Lincoln County District Attorney is charging Nyblom with being a party to felony murder battery. It's from an incident at the Lincoln Hills Copper Lake School. Nyblom is due in court today.
And some drinkers say they wouldn't mind a nutritional label with their beverage. Researchers in the UK say calorie labels on their alcohol would make them change their habits. In particular, it would help them maintain a healthier weight. Calorie labels are not currently required in the UK.
We finally have a chance of rain and some thunderstorms, some of which could be strong to severe, mainly west of Madison in the forecast this evening into tonight. That will affect the early morning hours of Friday, probably making its way to Madison between 1 and 2 a.m. overnight. Another chance of rain then Saturday evening, night into Sunday. We stick with off and on rain chances through that Monday, Tuesday time frame. So squeezing out some much needed rain finally.
Do you think we'll get quite a bit?
Maybe like an inch and a half over that span. So not a lot, but anything is welcome.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Savannah. Thanks for watching. We'll have another news and weather update in a half an hour.